Alright gang, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, Ozjan. I do hope you are all doing well. Really do hope that, friends. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I see what's being said about the Blues, giving you my opinion on said subject matter, but of course, as always, more importantly, asking for your opinion. Few things I want to talk about in today's video. Roman Abramovich has gone back to Stamford Bridge for the first time in years. Could be a positive sign. Also want to talk about Conor Gallagher and Steve Sidwell's comments about what the young Chelsea midfielder told Rio Ferdinand after being interviewed about him regarding his time at Chelsea and his inclusion in the Chelsea squad moving forward. And then maybe we could spend some time talking about Chelsea this season. Can we win the Premier League? We're top of the Premier League. What's going to happen? What will stop us? And who could stop us? A little bit of that. So settle in, get comfortable. I'd urge you guys to subscribe to this channel if you're new to the experience. If you do choose to subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notifications icon because it lets you know when I've uploaded. To all of you who are already, to all of you who are already subscribed, I'd urge you to do the same. Make sure the bell notifications icon is on. And yeah, drop a like if you want to support the channel. It all means a lot. Always means a lot. Cool, so let's start off with Roman Abramovich. He's been doing great work for the for his Say No to Anti-Semitism campaign stuff. And he was at Stamford Bridge yesterday or the day before in relation to that. A campaign that's very close to his heart. That's one massive reason why I personally think Roman Abramovich is still hugely invested in Chelsea. Not least because he puts loads of his own money in, but because he uses the club as a sort of face for his campaigns for doing work that he thinks is important. So when people say perhaps they feel he's losing interest in Chelsea, I don't think that's the case at all. And in fact, I think it's massively positive news that he's been seen back at Stamford Bridge, and hopefully that would feel good for him to reconnect with like his home, his footballing home, you know. Being at Stamford Bridge making me think, right, yeah, this is what it's about. We're top of the league again. I love watching my team. This is the stadium. You know, whether that will conjure up desires and thoughts to redevelop Stamford Bridge again. I know people are split on that. I've done a video about the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge a couple of months ago. Let's see what happens there. But generally, I think it's hugely positive that Roman Abramovich is back on the, you know, the turf where he built basically this gargantuan football club. So hugely positive. We don't know about his visa issue still, whether he's going to reapply so he can actually start work again. I mean, perhaps that anti-Semitism campaign isn't considered work because it's charity work, so he's allowed to do it there and conduct himself there. Don't quote me on that, I'm speculating. But hopefully he can sort of reintegrate himself back into working life with Chelsea and be part of the success that we seem to be building under Thomas Tuchel. Anyway, that's enough on Roman Abramovich. I just wanted to reference that. Let's move on and talk about young Conor Gallagher, absolutely lighting up the Premier League on loan at Crystal Palace. I think at time of recording, he might be Fantasy Premier League's highest scoring midfielder. You know, which tells you something, possibly, or certainly up there anyway. Very, very good indeed. He's the focal point of that Palace side. He's, you know, intense, he defends, he attacks, he presses, he can pass well. Everything you want in a midfielder. Recently, he did an interview with Rio Ferdinand that I believe is yet to air, but Rio Ferdinand was speaking to Steve Sidwell, and Steve Sidwell told this to the Football Joe channel, I believe. Apparently, when they stopped filming Gallagher and Ferdinand, Gallagher went to Rio, make sure, you know, you tell them that I want to get back at Chelsea, that this is not a shop window job. Really made sure to tell Ferdinand that, look, I am doing this to go back to Chelsea. Yes, I'm doing well. Yes, people will be interested in me. Yes, the Palace fans adore me. You know, all this is inferred, I guess. But despite all that, despite my superb performances and everything, it's all to get back into Chelsea. Hugely positive news. Chelsea fans are loving how well he's performing at Crystal Palace. Some speculation if he does return, where will he play? Because in pre-season, of course, under Thomas Tuchel, who by the way was very impressed with Conor Gallagher in pre-season, he said he played him in the double six, the double pivot, where, you know, Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, sound like us sometimes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek play. Yes, he could probably play there, but I think personally, because he does have that great attacking prowess, is really good in the final third in terms of his decision making and how he conducts himself with movement, ideas and passes. I think he'd be one of the sort of inside forwards behind the striker. In fact, let me know what you think regarding Conor Gallagher and his positioning in the Chelsea team. Regardless, I think he would be a hugely positive asset to have back in the squad. I've referenced this here before on the channel, but I'll remind you that Thomas Tuchel has publicly said in press conferences recently that he said to Conor, you can stay and fight for your place, in the squad. You can go on loan, and in the end, yes, they all agreed the loan was a good opportunity and has proven to be a good opportunity since playing under Patrick Vieira at Palace. But Tuchel did say, look, mate, you are very good, and if you stay, you'll have a chance. You'll have a chance to fight and play, essentially. But he went, it worked out for the best because Ruben will get more minutes. We'll get a proper close look at Ruben. At the time, we thought Saul Niguez might have been playing more. I don't know. Actually, no, it was deadline day, wasn't it? So anyway, interesting there. Personally, I think he's too good to not have at Chelsea. He will back it when playing a whole season at Crystal Palace and being the main man in that midfield and being like the star. He won't want to come and be on Chelsea's bench. So he will have to think, can I start? Can I play, next to Mason Mount behind a striker? Or, maybe Mason Mount gets dropped for Callum Hudson-Odoi, the things are going. Anything can happen. I mean, it was impossible a while ago to think Mason Mount could be dropped, and maybe it still is, considering he needs a chance to get back into form. But, certainly it could be striker, Mount, Conor Gallagher, do you know what I mean? Or there will always be rotation. Even if you're not, starting always, if you're, the first rotation, you can still play 30 plus games a season in the squad. It's when you play less than that you get frustrated. Anyway, I want to move on, so let me know what you guys think. Do you think he could play in the double six or the inside number 10 positions? And don't say both, because I think he'd get trained in one of them. So make a decision and let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'll be really keen to hear your thoughts on that. Right, let's move on. Chelsea are top of the Premier League at time of recording. And will be for another week. Hopefully we'll continue, provided we beat a Manchester United, being managed by Michael Carrick, so you'd ruddy well hope so. I was thinking, Chelsea are top of the Premier League despite playing some hard fixtures and despite having, our strikers out injured, Romelu Lukaku, who's meant to be the transformative, talismanic striker up front and may well still prove to be. But despite that, with key injuries as well, including Mateo Kovacic, Mason Mount was absent, Pulisic, Werner, all key injuries, by the way, still at the top of the Premier League summit. Now, I'm looking around at potential title rivals. Chelsea will have a difficult time. Mendy will go to the AFCON, and we will have the Club World Cup, which can cause disturbance in a title challenge as well. But I'm trying to think, really, if we were all being honest with ourselves, there's 3 title contenders this season. And it's still early in November to say, but you can pretty much say it's going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, City. That much seems clear. You look at Liverpool, who just blow teams out the way sometimes. I think about them and I think they do seem like they have more fragilities, more weaknesses than Manchester City. Because Mo Salah has scored 11 or 12 goals or something ridiculous this season. He's absolutely on flames. He's a man on fire. He will go to AFCON along with Mane and stuff. So that will be a very difficult time for Liverpool. And, certainly Egypt, if they do really well, Salah is so important. So they're kind of relying on the talisman over there. Man City, for me, are a little bit more ominous. I think Liverpool are beatable. They've stumbled. We should have beaten them at Anfield had Reece James not got sent off. In that first half when Kai Havertz scored that header, it looked like we were going to go on and batter them, and we had to dig in and get the draw. But in terms of 11 v 11, away at Anfield, we were the better side, and we probably should have taken all the points, if that handball didn't happen. So I do think Liverpool are beatable, and considering they're relying on these individuals, I just feel like they're not the worrying team for me. Man City are the worrying team. I can look at that Man City team, expect rotation. They brought that new youngster in from the academy as well. They got Foden, they got, Ferran Torres to come back. I don't know when his return is, but so many good players. And, Sterling's finding form again. Bernardo Silva's now been implemented into their midfield and looks like an amazing number 8 and no longer a front 3 player. Kevin De Bruyne is still probably to hit his straps, and Cancelo, man. My word, Cancelo is absolutely playing some filthy balls at the moment. That sounds gross. Anyway, point being, Man City look incredibly good. And in terms of longevity, rotating, but having systemic longevity, they're the ominous one for me. So I think Chelsea might be favourites or joint favourites with City. To be honest, if you looked at a lot of bookmakers, I would not be at all surprised if a lot of them are making Manchester City still favourites for the title. Purely because I don't think they won't be hit that badly with AFCON. They've got an incredible team, and if a player's out, you don't really feel like they're weakened. Whereas Liverpool, if Mo Salah's out, their drop-off is huge. It was like Chelsea without Eden Hazard. That drop-off, that talismanic drop-off. Whereas you could probably pick any player, in the Man City team. Maybe the goalkeeper, you could say, I know that Zach Steffen's a bit of a drop-off. But you could pick, even if you take Kevin De Bruyne out, Phil Foden, there will always be someone to come in and they'll still be systemically excellent under Pep Guardiola. And the thing that makes me feel worse about it is the fact how they absolutely slapped us up at Stamford Bridge. And that I've still got PTSD a little bit of that. We couldn't land a glove on them. And I've been thinking about how Chelsea play lately with these inverted wing-backs. Reece James going in midfield, Ben Chilwell taking out the centre-forward position. So much rotation, systemic rotation that the opposition players can't pick up, and we can beat teams quite comfortably. We can't get to that point with City. It's almost like we tried to do that at Stamford Bridge, but we couldn't even get out of, break the first line. And because of that, I'm speculating here, of course. I wonder if the Chelsea players have too much going on in their heads that they can't deal with exactly what's going on first to try and get to the game plan. City can do that to Chelsea. If they do that to Chelsea again at the Etihad, which they'll be favourites to do, that's a 6-point sway already. And in terms of their business, the way they conduct themselves elsewhere, I don't know. I know they got beat by Crystal Palace. Conor Gallagher special, of course. Got to go back to him. But, Chelsea dropped points to Burnley as well. I don't know. I just feel like if there's one team to beat, for me, I'm not worrying too much about Liverpool. It's very much Man City. But if Chelsea can stay, and especially because of how City are affected by AFCON in comparison to Liverpool, I really want to get people's opinions. We're top of the Premier League. We've had a difficult run. Players to come back in. If Lukaku starts firing and stuff, we score goals everywhere, so I don't think that's a huge problem. I think we can win the league, but my biggest concern is Man City, so I wanted to explain my theory, show my working, put it out there to you guys, and get your opinions on this. Who do you think is the favourites? Is it Chelsea? Is Man City the biggest competitor? Let me know. If you've enjoyed the content in this commentary type of content, please do drop a like. That means a lot, friends. I'm going to end it here, I think. It's been a bit more of a casual, flowing style video. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. And if you have, drop a like, subscribe, and all that gear, friends. Enjoy the football. I'll see you later. Peace.